meeting for some of the new people on here. This is basically, we talk about alternative real estate, anything having to do with making money in real estate. I want to welcome you here. Tenants and toilets, we talk about it at a whole different meeting. We kind of steer away from that. Typically, it's myself and Scott Spear. Scott Spear actually is in Las Vegas. He is actually at a storage facility. I guess they're having a big get together there. It's the national, I guess it's some national event that they're having over there, and he's getting more connections, more information for his, obviously for his real estate. So he is not going to be on here. And Andy, I don't know if he told you guys or not, but I'm just letting you guys know. I forgot to tell you when I got on. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I didn't know, but I figured he was either going to be late or he would have been here by now.
Yeah. He's over there building his storage facility empire. I know he's got well over 10 plus now, I think. I don't know if he's got 11 or 12. I don't even know anymore. Storage facilities.
Well, he partners on so many of them, or he just throws money at it. It's like, how do you keep track of that?
Yeah, only he has to keep track of is the checks coming in every month. So
ain't that the truth?
Not a bad deal. So basically, and by the way, we try to keep this, as you can see, for some of the new people on there, where, we kind of keep this so that way everybody can participate. We don't always have a set structure here. We want to be interactive on this, okay? And again, we talk about everything having to do with making money in real estate. So if you have questions or anything like that in a few minutes, if you want to ask some of them, you're more than welcome to, because we have everybody in their grandmother office. Some of the people on here do wholesaling, some of them flip, some of them buy in whole, some of them do notes, some of them actually loan money out. And, you have contractors on there and everything else in between. Okay. And there's also a chat room on here. If you have questions, you can also put that on there, but typically, you can pretty much ask. Okay. Also, we have, again, next week is going to be the landlord meeting. That's going to be live and in person at Da Vinci's. I think Carl Weeks is doing that. Is that correct? And Beth?
That's correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, there he is.
Carl, the man, the myth.
That's correct. And let me just give a little plug. So we're going to go off script a little bit. And the topic next week is going to be, we haven't had this topic in quite a while. So how to find, analyze, negotiate, and close deals in this dynamic market. And we have, the Gallagher is going to present that, and a couple of others together. So that's next week's topic.
Man, that's going to be fantastic, especially in this market.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic subject. Holy smokes, that'll be great. That'll be at Da Vinci. 6:30 is going to be the networking. 7 p.m. is when it starts. Right?
Yep. And it's in person only, no hybrid, no Zoom.
Yeah, be there and get the information. So, and I know next month we're also going to be having the main meeting, and I'm going to let Leon talk about the main meeting for next month. There he is. Go ahead, Leon.
Yep, I just had to, my phone happened to ring exactly when you were making the comments. Yeah, so we have a general meeting coming up on May 12th. And basically, the meeting is going to be, and we're still pulling some components of it together. I'm sure most people have heard of Airbnb before, and people have heard of Airbnb arbitrage. In other words, you don't own the property, but you do Airbnb in that property. So our speaker is a person by the name of James Graham, and he's very well known in the Airbnb arena. He'll be talking about Airbnb and how you can do Airbnb and be successful at it. So you'll see more details coming out about that. And believe it or not, James lives in, where you guys think he lives? Take a guess.
Rochester.
Rochester, New York. And he's very well known across these here United States and other parts of the world, believe it or not. So he's really, really good at doing Airbnb, and he's going to present that to the Freedom First group at the general meeting. At this point, there's a chance that it'll be Zoom only, but we're still working through some of the particulars given what he needs to do from a travel standpoint. So we'll work our way through that and look forward to seeing folks there or seeing you on Zoom. There being at DaVinci's.
Yeah, we'll
is
do.
what-
We'll
what we
we'll have the
normally do.
blended meeting set up for that one, and yes, our laptop will no longer die. So that
Yeah.
has now been corrected because it was shutting itself off even when it was plugged in. So that's fixed now.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll decide. We'll put it out there, let people know the specifics on it. And I think that you will find it to be a very different view of things and how you might do things different. And as I indicated, this person is very, very successful at doing it.
Now, I think you told me, I think he's spoken nationally, has been
Yeah.
asked to speak. Yeah, so.
Yeah, he speaks nationally. I mean, don't want to sort of give away his presentation because I haven't seen the exact components of it, but for example, he bought 26 Airbnb units in a resort area in Florida all at one time. When I say bought, I mean he took over those properties, and he actually does Airbnb in those areas. And he has Airbnb units here in Rochester, of course.
That'll actually be fantastic. Somebody nationally known right here.
Yep.
For our group. So that'll be great. Perfect. And that's going to be the second Thursday of May. What was it? What was the day?
May 12th
May 12th. All
at
right.
DaVinci's. We hope. We'll see.
Or on Zoom. All right. Well, everybody can go to freedomfirst.com, FFREIA.com. Sorry to interrupt you, Leon.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, he and we've had a fair amount of discussion about it, and it's really sort of what's happening with him from a travel type standpoint.
Perfect. All right. All set.
All set.
All right, perfect. All right. I don't know if there's some new people on here. I can't really tell. If you want to do just a quick introduction for some of the new people on there, tell us who you are and what you're looking in regards to real estate. Otherwise, Andy's going to call you out. Just a few people here. At least introduce yourself. I don't know if there's any new people on here.
Hi, hello everyone. This is Greg Gale. I've come to a couple of meetings. I need to actually pull the trigger and make a formalized membership. But that being said, hey, I am currently looking for mixed use financing, possibly hard money. That being said, what we're about essentially is focusing on adaptive reuse and just keeping abreast of opportunities that come our way. And I'm just excited to be here. You know, I've attended a couple of meetings, kind of held on, oh, what am I going to do? And I pulled the trigger and I'm now moving aggressively. And again, so just excited to be here to learn and, you know, get to a point where I can also contribute and just all around happy guy. So thank you. Love the content. Excited to be here.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Yes,
welcome, Greg.
Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Leon.
Okay. Good. And by the way, you're in a perfect spot for this, for what you're looking for. We'll get into that afterwards. Who else? I know there's some new people on here somewhere, someplace.
Hi,
Yeah, Andrew
this is
speaking.
Sally Young. Oh,
Wait,
sorry.
What
Sorry,
was
Andrew.
your name?
Introduce myself really quick. I'm Andrew. I'm from California,
Oh.
and I recently moved to Rochester, and I just wanted to kind of see what new opportunities are available in the market out here. And then I've been working with Alex, kind of been mentoring me. So we've had a great relationship and just share skills to get better at the real estate market. And I'm really excited to learn from all of you because I know we each have our own expertise, and I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Welcome to Rochester.
Hi, my name is Dolly Yan. I'm new to here. I'm a realtor. I'm in Rochester. I know your group. I just haven't had a chance to join. I'm excited. Hear all the new information. I'm also a landlord. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Welcome. And
Yes, hi, my name is Michael Voinovich. I'm also brand new here to Rochester. I attended a couple of meetings. I'm originally from Wisconsin, so I'm just starting out learning about things in trying to get my feet wet and trying to save money and hopefully get into the game. I'm going to become a member here pretty soon when I get paid next, so I'll be within the next week, and I'll be a brand new member of you guys.
awesome. That's fantastic. And all of you are in a really great place. By the way, for some of you thinking you're just gonna get your feet wet, we're gonna douse you guys. So in a good way. Who else? Don't be afraid.
Well, I'm Dom. I'm not new, but I've been in the group for a little bit. But since you're asking what we're looking for, I'm looking for buy and holds in 14609. I know it's a hot area, but if you have anything, shoot it my way. I'll put my contact info in the chat. And I'm also open to looking at some units in the 19th Ward if there's anything available. Always open to creative finance deals also. So anything, you have, throw it my way also. And I'll put my info in the chat if you have anything.
All right, Dom. Great. Perfect.
So, Dom, did you get the house in West Irondequoit?
Well, so after our meeting, what was it, 2 weeks ago, was it?
Well, look, wait, hold on. Let's do this. I want you guys to hold on to that because I'm going to let Don talk. I just want to see if anyone else, a couple of new people, do some haves and wants, and then I want to get into that because that was a fantastic. That was for those of you who are not on there. We'll get you up to speed. But I was going to ask that exact question. So I just want to see if there's any more new people on there. We're going to do have wants real quick.
Christopher.
Oh, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
This is Joe Stark out in Clifton Springs. It's been a while. I've met you and Leon a number of times. We backed off for a while. I've been out for a couple of years, but I'm trying to get re-involved in real estate again. We're looking at short-term rentals, Airbnbs, fix and flips, and eventually long-term.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so Joe, you heard my comments about the next speaker at the general meeting, right?
I did.
Yeah, so look forward to seeing you on that call or in person at the session.
Yep, I'm going to try.
Sounds great. So Joe, I have a question for you. Joe Lababero.
Yes.
My screen seemed like something weird is happening with it. There's a person, that person must be new. Person named Brandy that's in the middle of the screen there, in the middle of my screen. Is that the real Brandy that's been hiding all the time? Oh,
maybe.
The picture actually moves. It moves. Okay.
You're funny.
All right. Brandy, great. Absolutely super to see you in person.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Just thought I'd take advantage of that.
I knew you were talking about me.
Okay. Great.
Oh,
Great.
gosh. All right. So who else? Any other new people?
Christopher
I'm probably
Barnes.
new to a lot of you. This is Ben Vincent. I'm in the same boat as the other guy. I took about 2 years off, just making sure all my finance, I had enough cash reserves and looking to get back into things. Probably buy and holds, mostly 14616 area.
Ben, welcome back, Ben.
Yeah, buddy.
I know there's somebody else trying to speak up real quick.
Christopher Barnes. There you go.
Well, oh, I don't know if somebody was trying to say something or.
I think it was Chris Barnes. He's muted there.
Oh, okay.
Chris, could you unmute yourself?
Sorry about that, guys. Can you hear
Sorry.
me?
Yes, we can.
All right. I grew up here in upstate New York. I'm in Corning now. I moved away in the 90s, started investing in the late 90s. I have a lot of experience, a lot of wholesale fix and flip, used to run a construction rehab company, hard money, commercial lending, finance, business credit, the whole nine, the whole gamut. So I'm back here, just found this group today and wanted to link up with, you know, like-minded folks, see who's buying what, where they're buying, what you're looking for. I went from real estate development to digital development. So, you know, I have 12 high performing real estate funnels. You know, I do the whole online thing, cash flow digital real estate to, you know, make funds to buy real estate. So.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Thanks,
Good to
sir.
have you here.
Thanks.
Perfect. Anybody else? Are we good?
Hi, I'm new here. My name is Sheldon Moore. I'm just trying to learn how to wholesale here. So I just found you guys today.
Perfect. Welcome.
Yeah.
All right. I think those are pretty much most of the new people there. You want to kick this thing off over here. For what we like to do real quickly, we do what's called haves and wants. Okay. So if you're looking to sell a property or you're looking to buy a property, put it out to the group. So don't be afraid to let people know here. Anyone have anything they're looking to sell or looking to buy here?
I'm looking for dead deals. So if you can't get a, say you offer them a cash offer and you can't do anything with it because they're asking full retail, reach out to me as long as it's not listed with an agent.
Perfect. All right. Who else? Brandy can't be the only one looking.
Joe, hi guys.
Damn.
And I'm looking for storage units anywhere in the US, preferably off market. Well, no, just off market. I don't want to deal with a real estate agent either. No offense, but anywhere in the US, any size, 10,000 and above would be ideal. But anywhere in the US except for anywhere. Never mind. Anywhere.
How about Chicago? I know this one that's got 300,000 a year in taxes.
Chicago. No, Andy, even Chicago. You know why? Because the rent's reflected. So if the rents are reflective of that, and numbers work, the hell with it. I'll scoop it up.
All right.
And by the way, Gabe was talking about 10,000 square feet minimum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your budget?
10,000. So some of them probably didn't know.
What's your budget and what cap rate are you looking for on it?
My budget is if the numbers work. I'll find the money. I basically wholesale them, but as far as cap rates, I've closed a deal last month. It was like a 13 cap. So, anywhere from a 9 to a 12 cap will find. That's the sweet spot there. 6 cap, no, I don't think so because everyone's doing a 5-6 cap, but that's in the market right now. But I just find it hard to believe when people say that, well, you can't find anything above a 6 cap. Well, yeah, I just found one with a 12 cap, so I know what you're talking about. So,
Gabriel's filling in for Scott Spear. Thanks,
No.
Gabriel.
Yeah, he is.
He's saying, send me all of Scott's deals that you were holding for him because he couldn't bother to be here today.
Yep. We're gonna send Scott a text message. Happy retirement. Gabe, it's from Gabe.
Yeah.
You already
All right,
sold
who
all your
else
stuff
is
and drive
looking?
around the country. It's Gabe's
Yeah,
turn.
okay.
Hello, guys. One quick ad. I've been working with a traditional lender on a particular deal. Numbers are great. That kind of fell through because they've got some vacancy on the mixed use. Numbers are really, really great. I'm in need of a hard money lender, ready to move. Everything is in order, and I just cannot let this deal go. So that's one of the reasons I'm on today, just to connect as well too. But I got to move and move very quickly. Just put that out there. Anyone that could work with me, I'm definitely just, yeah, I need to make this happen. So just excited.
Okay. So, you also put some information in the chat room too.
Yeah, Greg, put your
For sure.
email in the chat room. I'll connect you with a few.
Perfect. I'll definitely do that right now. Thank you.
Yeah. Who else? Anyone else looking for anything?
I put it in the chat, Joe. So again, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom ranch, any condition off market anywhere in Greece and Irondequoit. So any wholesalers out there, take note.
So is this going to be a flip or is it something turnkey?
It's not a flip. Turnkey.
Okay.
Alex Jones says he's got a duplex in the city in 14608. He's open to sell if there are people interested.
There's always people interested. It's the numbers. Alex, are you on mute?
Oh, sorry. Alex was we were switching interpreters, so he was looking for me. So I was waving
Okay.
to make it easier to see. Sorry.
There you go. So I can't hear you.
Oh, again, Alex wasn't making a comment. He was just making sure that he could see
All right.
everything.
So what's the best way for them to get a hold of Alex? Can he put his information up on the chat box?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I'll put it in now.
Perfect. Anyone else? I know I'm looking for, I look for everything. I run the gamut. I'm looking for not only residentials, also buying holds, also looking for flips, commercial residential properties, and obviously storage facilities. And I will look at some industrial. That's just going to depend on what the situation is with either the current or the past tenants. I'll put my information on the chat box once I get a chance to. So if you do have anything, please don't be afraid to reach out.
And
anyone else?
Joe, I am looking for subcontractors. We're doing a couple new builds, smaller housing that I would like to get some subcontractors so I don't have to swing a hammer.
Yeah, that's been very tough for a lot of people. Who else has a Christmas wish list in March?
I'll add something onto my FOMO comments from earlier. So in addition to all the insanity and the potential coming economic decline and maybe a bubble collapse of epic proportions, this is also the last year that you can do accelerated depreciation 100% on your properties. It goes to 80% next year. This is if you're doing a cost seg project, which if you're not doing cost seg and you don't know what accelerated depreciation is, you're using the wrong accountant and you need to find another one if you're in real estate. But take advantage of it because it's going to disappear by 2028. But this is the last year you can take advantage of it and get 100%. So do it now.
Basically, talk to our accountants. All right. Everyone's Christmas wish list is good to go, I guess.
Oh, Joe, I'll add something. I have a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath in the 19th ward, all the way down by the river, that I'm considering, renting out. It's ready to go, but I'm open to rental arbitrage. If someone wants to, if the numbers can work for both of us, I'm definitely open to have a conversation with someone. So my contact's in there in the chat. So if someone's open to wanting to get into that game, we can have a discussion surrounding that.
Perfect.
I know Earl McCray does that.
Yeah, I've spoke with Earl before about a property in East Irondequoit about it.
Yeah. So now, Dom, real quick here, for those, there's a lot of people who weren't on last on our last call 2 weeks ago, which was obviously, I think that was during the morning, right?
Yeah, it was a morning call.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was in Tennessee. I was in Memphis. So basically, I'll let you explain it quickly because I want to definitely get into some questions for people. But I want Dom to update as far as what happened because we were all going crazy. We were foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
At this deal, and just tell everybody what the heck happened.
All right. So I have a friend that wants to get into investing, listen to Bigger Pockets galore, but hasn't pulled the trigger. It's tough because his significant other isn't so much on board with investing in the city of Rochester, rather stay in the suburbs. But one thing he did was just be present in his neighborhood, which was something that maybe sometimes we all may look over. And he happened to just see some family from out of town clearing out a house. He went over, talked to them, and was able to strike up a conversation about purchasing a house. This is in West Irondequoit, really hot area near Irondequoit High School. And he was able to get the seller to sell the house for $75,000 in West Irondequoit, and it didn't need much, maybe 10 grand of updating max, and that's really pushing it. But he wouldn't pull the trigger. He just kept waiting and waiting.
Don, not to interrupt you, but what was the ARV? What was the actual fixed up cost of the property?
ARV easily on a conservative level, 160K. Conservative based on what's been selling around here recently, because I live over here, so it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So like, what's been selling over here, 160. And he wouldn't pull the trigger. He asked me, if he should try and get it for 65. And I told him, you don't want to lose a deal by just trying to save $10,000. I offered him 5,000 for that. Like, I'll give you 5,000 cash. Then I brought it to the group here, and everyone wanted the address and wanted to go after it because this guy didn't pull the trigger. But I put him in touch with my lawyer, and I just started the conversation for him, essentially. After telling him I'd give him 10 grand and he had 24 hours. But I just put him in contact. So now it's moving forward. Everything's going good. He's going to pull the trigger. I'm trying to get him to convince him to flip it, but it's his deal. He wants to hold it as a rental in West Irondequoit. So that's his choice. But yeah, that's basically short. And what I learned from that is just be present. Just drive down your street and see what houses look like shit or look like someone's not living there. And, if somebody's out there, just strike up a conversation. It can go a long way.
Absolutely. And that guy was waiting, but that's also because he was very insecure, and you offered him $10,000 to walk away from the deal. And I think you said, I'll go after it myself if you don't make the decision, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if someone offers you 10 grand, you got to think, okay, there's something going on here.
Well, yeah, he kept saying that. He was like, obviously, if you're so interested in it, it must be worth it. I was like, I told you it was worth it 2 weeks ago. Like, but you can't force everybody. Everybody doesn't operate like I do. I don't operate like Joe does. So everyone just does things differently.
Well, we're in the business here, and within this group, which is great. We can all bounce ideas off each other, be able to help each other out. So anybody ever has questions, people can connect here with no problem. But that's at least I'm so happy he got it, because if he would have lost it, oh my God, I think I would have been sick.
Yeah. Now he's just getting quotes from outrageous contractors. And I'm like, man, you're doing it wrong again. But hey, it's on him.
What you do, say, listen, I'll pay you $15,000 to walk away from the deal, and I'll get it taken care of. Okay.
No, I told him, I said, if you want to pay those guys that, I said, my crew will come in and do it for that amount. I go, if you want to pay that, for sure. Any day of the week. But we're going to figure it out. I'm going to teach him how to GC a job and everything. And I'm going to hold my hand on this one.
He was very lucky because in this market, and that part of West Irondequoit is super hot, super, super hot. At one point, that was like, I think, the #1 zip code in the country.
Yeah.
In the country for people buying there. And this guy held off for weeks, which is completely unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, so he was very lucky, which is great. At least that way he got it.
Yep.
You know.
Well, get ready for those taxes to go up. You know, that's why they postponed it.
Yeah, they're coming.
Oh God, please. I own a bunch of properties over there, so I don't even want to think about it.
Even the
So-
places they didn't postpone it are getting raked over the coals. 43% increase on my house. Whee!
God. Man, Andy, you're just great
My-
news.
My city one went up 300%.
Yeah, it's a little over the top. I
Yeah.
saw that. I saw your Facebook post. I was like, really? And then they sent me mine, and I was like, I'm already paying $6,000 in taxes. Seriously?
Oh man. Well,
I will fight it though. I did look and research around the neighborhood. I actually pay the most in my neighborhood. I pay more than a 10 unit, one block over. I pay more than every other double, and they were all assessed at the same time.
wow.
I'm
You
not
must have made
shocked.
somebody mad.
Yep.
Man.
Low man on the totem pole. That's what that sounds like right there.
Now, first of all, we try to keep this interactive. So if there's anybody who has any questions you'd like to ask, or even if you're working on a deal, if you're, don't be afraid to ask here, because I don't want to be the only one speaking here. Is there anyone who does have any questions about anything? And don't be shy.
Yeah, did anybody engage with the county tax foreclosure auction this week on the 21st? I think it was
To some extent here. Some extent.
Mostly it was land, right, Adam?
Yeah, correct. There was only about 3 houses.
So who's gonna go fight Nunzio for those 3 houses? That's the question.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people go to that auction. I don't. I know some people who do. I just, it's the competition there is so fierce, and there's so little properties out there. I let them fight it out.
I've never bought a house from the auction in the city, but has anyone ever utilized auction.com to purchase a house? And can you explain your experience with that?
Well, I did, Dom. In fact, it was a 2-family in Charlotte that I picked up 3 years ago. I utilize all auction sites, the main 4 auction sites: auction.com, hubzoo.com, hudsonandmarshall.com, and realestateauction.com. Those are the 4 biggest ones. I stay in touch with them. I encourage, and you're able to select the categories. So I encourage REOs, bank owned. They've already foreclosed on them. The title's pretty much clear, versus the foreclosures. So yeah, I bought one. There's a lot of risk in that, big risk. You have to have a high risk tolerance to go down that road. There's a lot of times you can't see the inside. It's only visual from the outside. Due diligence is minimal, but it's if you have a high tolerance for risk, then it's cool. Right now, I'm utilizing all 4 of those sites to buy property in Florida. That's where my next angle is right now.
So
Carl,
when you bid on this and you lock it up, you have to put a deposit. Are you using a hard money lender after that, or are you using just your own personal cash to purchase these?
Personal cash. I mean, if you have a hard lender lined up, okay, fine. I'll tell you flat out, as a hard lender, I would never touch that as a purchase at all. You're already coming into a high risk situation. As a lender, it's triple high risk. So forget that. So got to have your own cash. You got to be prepared for cash. That's the main thing with auctions.
Got it. Okay.
Carl, are they all free and clear? Because sometimes I hear that, sometimes you can buy them, and and that's what worries me. Could there be other liens or encumbrances on the property?
Great question. And I'm going to take a little break to get my list. There's about 8 different liens that are not wiped out. I'd like to report back. Give me about 10 minutes.
All right, 10 minutes. Clock is ticking.
I bought
Um,
a house off auction.com out in it's Red Creek, way out. And it took the seller or the title company, it took them 5 months to get the title cleared for us to close. And then once we got it clear for a close, it was listed at 6.5 acres. When we got everything back, it was only 5.5 acres. So when we went to them and said, hey, can we get, some kind of discount? What are you going to do for us? It's an acre of land. That's a lot of land. Basically, they said, we'll send you your deposit back. If you don't want the property, don't buy the property. So they don't care. One, and it's depending on the deal is good. But like they were saying, though, Carl was saying, hard money on the auction sites, that's really tough. It's really, really tough to get hard money on an auction site.
And then I think sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get, if you put a deposit down and you don't get it, I think it takes a little bit of time to get that back.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony, how much did you have to put down?
10%.
10%. Okay.
10% down. And they require that, and you got to pay within 30 days, what they say on the site. But again, you got to get everything cleared. There is Carl does have some good points though, too. There are some things that don't get released. So you do have to do your due diligence on it, but sometimes it's hard to even find that out. You know what I mean? It's, it may be due, but you don't know about it until, the record goes in that you purchased it. Now the people that owe money, now they're going to come back. Oh, we got a new owner.
So did you have an attorney do a title search? It cost a few $100, well worth it. Did you do that, or you took a chance?
Yeah, we did that. We did a title search. We did do that. So it came back clear. So it wasn't a big deal.
Did you do that before putting down the deposit?
No.
You did it after the deposit.
You do it after the deposit because they're moving quick.
Get it.
And I will tell you, auction.com, some of them are just like 10X. You're bidding against the bank. So don't when you start going up, don't get crazy, because this house, I set my threshold at 80,000 and it took 9 months. It went through 6 different cycles because every time I put it in, the bank would bid it up. And I said, okay, we're not doing that. So after 7 months in 6 different cycles, we finally got the house.
So you put $8 grand down, right?
Yes.
What would have happened if you pulled title and those liens were up there? Let's just say the liens were, well, depending on the spread, let's just say at a $20,000 or $30,000, $40,000 lien. What would have happened to that $8 grand if you didn't close?
They keep it. They keep the $8 grand. They're going to keep that. But, on those websites, I mean, unlike right now when I bought that, the property going in was, there was a good profit on it. That's why I bought it. So even if there was, because my lawyer said the same thing, you're playing with fire right now. You're playing with fire. So we made our threshold that, okay, even if, God forbid, the worst case scenario, we break even. So that's, know that going into the auction sites that, it could be a minefield, but then again, it could be good. So,
I mean, one of the key things, if I could just interject here, is when you are looking at an auction site, I found that there's a big difference between some of the auction sites like Anthony is talking about versus one that's being done by a government municipality like the city or the county. And I mean, you can be very, very surprised. I remember one time I put in a couple of bids on auction.com and, you had to put a minimum amount. So I put in 3 bids with 3 minimum amounts. So, I only bid it on one property. So your normal thought would be, well, as soon as the auction bidding is over, you're gonna get your money back. It don't work that way. In essence, they have the money in their hand and they're gonna give it back to you when they get good and ready almost. Yeah, so you have to read a couple of key things that I found. You always wanna read in detail what's outlined for that particular auction that you're looking at. And I would say, don't make the mistake of thinking that, okay, I've done this auction before, so, things are going to be the same. I found out that they can be substantially different. An auction done by the same company, and no real reason as to why it's different. It could be something that they worked out with someone else, but you need to pay very, very close attention to the details of when you're doing auctions. Otherwise, it can get pretty hairy very quickly.
Yeah, very important. Very important, guys. The terms of sale and the fine print, please read it. There's a couple of the sites that actually will provide insurable title. If they cannot provide that, you do get your deposit back. But it's high risk gambling, and if you like that style, like I do and some other people do on this site, go for it. Let me read you the list of liens that are not wiped out by foreclosure. This is pretty interesting. Child support liens, code enforcement liens, environmental liens, and utility liens. I think we all know this. IRS liens. IRS liens with the 120-day redemption period. You're familiar with that? Okay. Government liens such as state and federal tax liens. So tax liens are not forgiven. Mechanics liens in some states, they don't identify what states. HOA assessment liens in certain states, they don't identify what states. The obvious one, first mortgage if you foreclose in a second or third, we know that. And that's pretty much it. But the tax liens are important because a lot of these properties do have tax liens sold to third-party tax lien buyers. And so somebody said to have it, Joe, I have an in on a title company. It doesn't have to be an attorney. If you have a relationship with any title company, they can do a quick title search to identify those liens. I happen to have one, and I do that before I bid. If I'm into a property, I do have a quick turnaround for a title search, and it's directly with the title companies. Forget attorneys; they won't work fast enough for you.
Yeah, isn't it called like a stub? I think it's it's like a stub check or whatever it is you want to call it there. I can't remember.
Right.
It was something like that.
Right. It's not a total abstract search. It's essentially all lien encumbrances search so that they can determine whether or not the title is insurable.
Okay.
Do you have to go through your person to do that, or is there some number we can call? Because like Joe said earlier, I would absolutely make that phone call before I put the bid in if I could.
Well, I have that relationship, but you could do it yourself. If you take the time to learn the county clerk's office in the county that you live, you can search all documents for that property in terms of property related activity as well as the person activity. And so you can see what's going on in that title. The public can, and thanks to technology, you can do that. And I do it all the time. I utilize the title company because they do a deeper search. They have more resources than we have on the front end of the clerk's office. So they do a deeper one just for extra insurance. But we do that through your county site, public records. They're all right there for you.
Carl Coulter, I assume there's a small charge for doing that for you, the quick stub check?
Yes.
The stub search?
Yes.
Yeah. Even if it was $200, it's still well worth it.
Bingo. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing you want to take a look at those sites too is there's a commission Sometimes they add a commission on 2 to 3%. So watch that. And then the other one is sometimes they let a realtor take a commission. So one of them, I had my realtor throw the bid through him, and he got commission on it. It's a bone, just so he keeps, so he keeps sending me properties, but it's free money. Hit your realtor up. There's your Christmas present.
Anthony, I'm curious, where have you explored the auction sites? What location?
I did auction.com. I bought a house, and Hubzu. I bought a house. Hubzu, I actually. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What location?
One was Williamson, and the other was south of Sodus Bay. And it's funny because the one in Williamson, my partner at the time just sent me a link. It's up for sale. I sold it for $142,000 and thought I was scoring. They just put it up for sale 3 years later for $225,000. It'll probably go well over because it's got 4 acres of land. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch, and I totally renovated the entire house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell them they owe you a commission.
Yeah. That was my first, that was the first house that I sold that I actually told the purchaser, because they were going back and forth with little stuff. We want this fixed. We want that fixed. We want this fixed. And I let them move in before we closed. Don't ever do that. But I let them move in before we closed because I was being a nice guy because they had little kids, blah, blah, blah. So they were nickel and diming me, and I pull up. All their stuff is out front. They got a moving truck. I said, here's the deal. Sign the papers and close, or put all that stuff in the front yard, back in the truck, and get off my property. And that ended it right there. They signed the paper, and that was it.
Yeah, but never let people move in.
Don't let anybody move in. Don't let them move in before you go. Never.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson.
Yeah. I've had people ask me that on my flips. Never.
Nope.
Not going to happen. And another thing too, on those auction sites, there's a lot of small print. And what I was taught was the big print giveth and the small print taketh. Okay. And that's what worries me. That's why I don't do that.
Absolutely. But in today's day and age, Joe, I mean, with the prices where they're going, over asking, over this, over that, I mean, we're starting to see, I mean, that's kind of like where the bargains are now, If you're looking for bargains, it's not on the open market at all. I mean, or especially listed properties. I mean, so your best bet is wholesaling, your wholesalers off market or the auction sites, but depends upon your risk level.
Yeah. Well, I've got a guy actually, if we get a chance, I'll go over that. I got a guy who's been finding some stuff, which was just, I couldn't believe it, what he's got going on though, but let's see first, anyone else has questions, anybody? We can talk about any topic you want, as long as it has nothing to do with landlording. No offense to landlords.
Hey, we're not landlords. We have a new
housing providers.
Yes, we got rid of that bad, crazy name.
Housing providers. So anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask? It doesn't, anything having to do, in regards to whether it be a deal or a question you may have about something. Please feel free to ask.
Actually, I have a question, Joe, concerning that, what Carl talked about, that you can find, I know you can find a lot on the county records, the county website about, anything that before you look for a property and stuff like that. The curious question is things like IRS tax liens, is that public record? Because I got this property in Ohio they've been dealing with since February, and I'm trying to get her to sign the contract, but she's going back and forth in what she wants to do because she doesn't know about her tax liens. But I'm just wondering if there's a way I can, in the back end, sort of like find out what her tax liens are so I can be armed with some information. So when I call her, that I can get her sign the agreement. And, if there's any other way I can do that. I mean, if I did do a title search, I guess I will, but I'm just wondering if it's public information or available, stuff like that.
Yeah. So when you search the site, it gives you several options. You search in the property records, and then you search the name of that owner, which has to be accurate. So any liens attached to that name will pop up, and that's where you're going to see your IRS liens and so on.
And that's county website.
So, yep. So it's the person's name that you want to search as well as the property.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Perfect. Questions, anybody? Don't be shy.
I'm looking for the zips that you guys are buying in and what kind of inventory you're looking for, the LTVs and the cents on the dollars that you're buying at. I'm going to set up shop and get some inventory.
Yeah, we're not telling you, dude. No, you're out.
Okay.
Look, as long as the numbers work.
I'm like kidding.
and look, there's different people looking for different models over here. For us, we look at pretty much anything that the numbers work. And
that's what I'm driving at. Like, you know, I haven't been here, so I haven't had a lot of time to do due diligence. So are you guys wanting to go in at 50 cents on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar? And I know the answer is yes, but how far up do you go? What are you a buyer at? 70 cents on the dollar, 80 cents on the dollar?
Does it happen now? 50, 60? No.
Yes, it does.
Let's go back to your location thing. It depends upon your risk tolerance, right? So, and your type of investment. You want to buy, hold, flip, or wholesale. That's going to direct you into different locations. For example, buy a hold. You don't want the C and D parts of the city. No, that's way too risky and too management intensive. If you're doing flips and wholesales, you got your suburbs. So, you could kind of look that stuff up, but Joe?
Yeah. I mean, for me, there's a bunch of people want to do a bunch of different stuff. I do city, suburbs, A, B, C, D type areas, and Carl hit the nail right on the head. And for those of you who don't know Carl, by the way, Carl has managed probably, I don't even know how many thousands of properties in the city of Rochester. He's been around for like almost 40 years. Okay. What he's forgotten about real estate, I can't even begin to imagine the stuff that he's done. So he's extremely well versed in regards to what's going on, especially when it comes to property management and analyzing properties. And I do agree with Carl. Some people will buy and hold in the C and D type areas. Some people only want to do those types of areas. I do all types of areas at the same time. All of my properties that I hold are A and B type areas. Okay. And I will do C plus type areas. Okay. But the C minus to D's, I wholesale them out. I do flips over there, but I know one guy, he'll do stuff in the C minus D areas. He wants to make $15,000 profit. Okay. I know other people, they won't even touch that. Some people, they want to be only suburbs. They want to make 25 to 30 or make 20%. Anything above 150, they want to be at 20%. That gives them enough of a spread. If it's $200,000 house, they want to be at 40 grand, and it also gives them a little bit of a leeway. So we have people that ask us all the time where you need to be. Depends on where it is, depends on the price, and depending on what it's going to be in regards to what it's going to cost to fix it up. If someone brings us a house and it's a $200,000 house and they're asking $100,000 and it needs $60,000 worth of work, and then you have $5,000 for closing costs. Now you're at 165. Your holding costs would be another $5. Now you're at 170. And then you're going to pay commissions on that for the 200. You're going to be that's 12. That's $182,000. Closing again will be another 1,000. You put you 183. That leaves you $17,000. And you haven't even talked about a profit yet. So on that $17,000, if you pay 28 to 32% in capital gains tax, your net on that's going to be somewhere between $11,000 and change and $13,000. And for that whole $200,000 investment, it'll actually be a little bit less than $200,000, obviously, though. So the numbers have to work. And I apologize if I ran through those numbers very quickly for people. If you have questions on those, I will go back on those. So it's it's not exactly the easiest question to ask. Some people, they want to be 70% all in. Purchase price, holding costs, closing costs, commissions, everything, and then they're happy.
You have the fixed cost, Joe, as you're talking about,
Yeah.
but the $1 million question is the unknown moving cost, and that's the rehab cost, right? That's the unknown. That's the one that's risk heavy, because you look at it. I mean, where do you get these numbers from? Everybody's saying it doesn't need any more than 10 grand. Where'd you get that from? Are you an experienced rehabber, hands-on, that does this stuff that can actually establish those cost values?
Yeah.
Are you? When it comes to flipping and rehabbing, get on board a very experienced contractor that can give you a cost analysis so you can accurately nail that after resale value.
Yeah.
Very important. You looking at it and making a guess, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah. You know, Carl, this morning I went to go look at a house, had a lady, she called me up at 6:08 a.m. this morning. I was already up. My phone rang at 6:00. I was like 6:08. I said, oh, maybe that's Home Depot. Maybe the guys are calling, whatever, no big deal. And she goes, hello. And she goes, I have a house. I need to sell it. And I go, okay. So I talked to her, very nice lady, very, very nice lady. And she had a fire. And I went to go look at it. And it was in a C- type area. And it needed probably around 80 to 100 grand worth of work. And after putting 80 to $100,000, it was going to be worth 55 to 60,000 bucks. Unfortunately, I couldn't help her. And I felt really bad. I was trying to give her some ideas, you know. And to your point, Carl, you know, she thought it could be fixed for way cheaper. And it was in really bad. It was a fire. You know, she made it sound like, oh, it's not too bad. You know, I walked in there and I'm like, oh God, this, I had to make sure I wasn't going to fall through the floor. So, yeah.
You got paid on the insurance, and then, you know, people that sell with fire jobs, you know, if they're not insured, that's a different story. But with
She didn't have enough insurance. They were going to take her right out of her cut, and they're talking $40,000 to $50,000 to knock it down, which I thought was exorbitant. But yeah, I felt bad for her. But yeah, you know, basically everybody. I know one guy. He just does the city properties, like I said, and he's happy with making $15,000. But he's very experienced. I don't recommend people doing that. Okay, he doesn't like doing the suburbs because he'll, you know, if he has to spend $130,000 to make 30 grand, okay, he can go off. He can spend $35,000, fix it up, and make $15,000. He's making a higher rate of return on his money with spending less. That's his model. Now, it's not for everybody. I mean, he's got guts, you know. But, and by the way, if I'm confusing people with numbers, please speak up. We're here to help each other, not for me to confuse you. Everybody's following? All right, guess everybody's following. And by the way, for that gentleman asked that question, you know, I know people are putting their information up on the chat box and things like that. You know, you can always connect, you know, with the rest of us offline also.
Also, Joe, to that point too, everybody's rehabs can be different. Some guys, you know, have their own crews, so they may be saving money on the top end. So, I mean, there is opportunity sometimes to get more out of it as a wholesale, like you're looking for. but not everybody, obviously. Joe, that last one that we had looked at, me, you, and Brandy, that we had talked about, that's actually should be closing any day. And, you know, we got more than what it was worth to us, but to another investor, you know, it made sense. So there is some opportunity at different price levels too. But yeah, most wholesalers do underestimate repair costs when it comes to the standard investor having to get things done.
I see that all the time. I see that all the time with them underestimating it.
Yeah, very, very good point, Adam. Very good point. I mean, are you going to hire this out to a GC? Are you going to hire this out directly to a contractor without a GC? Different price points there, right? And or are you going to act GC as yourself? You're going to be a GC and hire the skill sets to come on in, or do the work yourself. So you have 4 different levels of price points in consideration, right?
Funding as well can make a difference too, if they're using hard money or they're using their own money.
Yeah.
Big difference. You're paying 10% or 12% in points. So, yeah. Any questions, anybody? Please feel free to ask. Doesn't have to be just on this topic. If you're new and you have some questions, feel free to put it out here. We'll do our best. Everybody's good? All right.
How do you access the, hey Joe, how do you access the chat when you're on mobile?
There should be a chat button right there on your mobile phone, and you're asking the wrong person. If I have to teach you about computers, you got problems.
Well, no, I was cutting you off. I wanted somebody else to tell me, Joe.
The bottom right has a more button, and in more it has chat.
Hopefully he got it.
No, I don't see it, but.
Well, yeah, I know it's on there. I just don't know exactly how to tell you. For those of you who don't know me. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm on an iPhone. So whenever you kind of tap the screen, it's got your mute, start video, all the good stuff on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, I had to tap it first. Sorry about that.
No problem, Ben. No problem. You got to be able to connect on here. So that's one of the major things about this group, which is fantastic, be able to connect. So some of the things that, that I've been seeing, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's been seeing this. I know that obviously things have been selling like crazy. The suburbs, things are still going. Things are just, I'm hearing mixed opinions. Some people saying it's slowing down a little bit. Some people are saying, that yes, it's still going strong. And what I've been seeing is the ones that are really going strong, obviously the suburban properties, ones that have been fixed up to the hill, where people are just being able to get them 100% turnkey. Okay. We did a house in the city, which typically we've been doing pretty good at. I mean, we've been getting those sold just as fast as the suburban properties. And what I've been finding is, and then I've also been watching on the MLS. A few months ago, I was never seeing hardly ever price reduction. And what I've noticed, I've been watching, because I have realtors that send me stuff all the time, and one of the things that catches my eye is when I see price reduction. And I wouldn't see as many, be one here or something like that. And then over the last like 6 weeks, I've been seeing more price reductions. And instead of just being one, I'd see 2 or 3 or 4. And now I'm seeing it more and more. And one of the, obviously, and I can't be the one experiencing this, I'm starting to be a little bit more cautious in regards to pricing, depending on where you're doing your flips. The one property that we got done doing, The realtor went in a little bit high. And typically we were used to, and it was like a C plus type area. And well, C to C plus. And we got people who looked at it, but not the amount of traffic that we were used to getting. So we stepped back, and we actually, because we were kind of going for top dollar and we were hoping to go higher. Well, I mean, we bought it at a fantastic price. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's enough on there. So we decided to step back, and we actually lowered the price. And so we've actually starting to get some traction. But what I've noticed is in the A and B type areas, those things are selling. They're just selling. And if you're a flipper, as long as it's spectacularly beautiful, you know, I mean, I know some people, they're you know, instead of lipsticking it up, they're trying to chapstick it up. And last summer you could do that and just barely do anything to it and get rid of it. I don't like doing that. I don't like taking those kinds of chances. Some people will take that risk, but what I've seen is, and I've been noticing, because, you know, for me, I buy in all kinds of areas. What I've been noticing is, especially the D areas where, and a perfect example is this. This was this afternoon. We had a guy who we talked to a couple days ago. He wanted $80,000 for a 2-family in a D area. It was on Lyle Avenue. Okay, and occupied. And he was making only like $1,200 a month. Should have been higher than that, but basically now he's already down to 50. And I told them, I'll go there. I'm going to start at 50. Okay. As long as they know that I'm going to be starting at 50, I'm not going to, you know, if that thing's in pristine shape, which I highly doubt it is from what he told me. And he knows that. I said, listen, typically I'm going to be around $30,000, $35,000. Okay. And I offered him $30,000, $35,000. And he goes, well, would you consider 50? And I said, better have gold toilets. I don't know, but as long as I know he's negotiable, I'll go and look at it. And what I've been finding is that, and I want to paint some of the other people, is that some of the people in the D type areas are starting to become more negotiable on their prices. Okay. They're starting to have a, you know, because obviously things are just starting to change a little bit. But those areas I'm seeing, you know, I've been noticing that. And I mean, I don't know if anyone, I don't, who else can speak to this? Because I can't be the only one that's actually going through or actually been seeing that. Who else?
Well, Joe, I actually just picked up a house on the market in Greece that was, because I'm the same way. I'm always looking on the MLS. And I've been noticing houses being on there longer than the normal 1 week of when the delayed negotiations are. So I found one that was on there for about 14 days. And I got it about $15,000 less than asking in Greece. So so I'm seeing similar, and I've been getting the emails from like realtor that say price reduction on these houses, you know, and then I'll look and see. It's just not my area, so I don't mess with it. But I look at them for the flips also, like you're saying, to see what areas the prices are going down.
Yeah, and by the way, you're right. I mean, obviously, people are going to start gearing up for spring because there is a shortage of properties. Okay, so don't just take what we say is like 100% gospel. At the same time, you know, what we're saying is that, you know, really be careful of what's going on, especially with what Andy was talking about with interest rates that are going to be going up. There's, you know, right now people are worried, they're trying to pay for gas, food, and everything else. You know, there's going to be, you know, some of the people, I know one guy, he's got 16 flips going on at once right now. 16. And I'm like, you know, and I'm thinking what Andy said, if the Fed goes up that high, I'm gonna have to look, I'm gonna have to drive over the Bay Bridge and make sure he's not going over the Bay Bridge. Okay. So, because 16 flips, okay. So it's just it's just my, our way of saying that, really be careful about what's going on out there. Okay. Who else? Anyone else seeing that? Anyone else seeing a few, any reductions or anyone to be able to get anything at a reduced rate?
Joe,
Yeah, I see it. Oh,
go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, I see it too. I mean, every house that hits the market, I see, I'm constantly, getting every update just to stay on top of the market. And like you said, it's the houses that are selling, that are having, 35 people walk through in less than an hour, are usually the pristine, or at least the pictures look pristine. The ones that people are kind of making a reach for the sky on numbers, and it may not be 100%. They've definitely started to have to drop 10, 15,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Joe, this was expected. Okay, this was expected. There was a point in time, because of this balloon episode that we were experiencing, had to cool off at some time, at some point in time, and he was alluded upon it. The high interest rates, the inflation going on, that's the cooling off process going on, and it's happening in the real estate market all day long. So it's supply and demand is less demand going out there, and so you're going to see this reduction in price, more of those reduction in prices. And so, yeah, we're hitting a turning point right now, and that's the balloon that's getting popped right now, in my opinion. And we're seeing that all throughout this market.
Yeah. And the other thing too, for everybody on here, especially new people, if we buy a property today, okay, you got to figure you're going to be about 6 months out. Typically, you're 5 to 6 months for average time. 30 days to buy it. Let's say you buy it within 30 days, whatever. That doesn't count. But if you can fix it within the 30 to 60 days, let's figure 45 to 60 days. If it's a regular flip, and then you sell it, you have another 45 to 60 days to for a pre-qualified buyer to actually close on it. And I don't like to figure selling it within a week. I like to figure 30 days. Okay. 45 to 60 days plus 30 plus another 45 to 60. So you have about average right around 5 months. Okay. So all I think about it, especially what Andy was talking about, is that they're going to be meeting 6 times this year to raise interest rates. And they already said they're going to raise it. So whatever we do today, if I buy something today and I don't close on it another 30 days, which is going to be, till like the third week of what is that? April. Wait, we're in May. Oh my God. I know what month it's in. So we're already going to be in the 5th month of the year. And then that's when your clock starts. So you're going to be going into October. Okay. And then we don't know what's going to happen. So for me, whenever, and especially now I could be wrong. At the same time, I'm buying at the numbers that make me feel comfortable, that no matter what, I'm going to be fine. Actually, I talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago on the call. We picked up a 3-family over in Maplewood, a 3,000 plus square foot 3-family, beautiful house, newer roof, vinyl siding. I mean, just the place was beautiful, gardens, everything, and it's worth somewhere around it's worth well over 200,000+. Okay. And it'd be a fantastic owner occupant or even as a rental. And a 2-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a 1-bedroom. The place is just massive. We got it for $110,000. Okay. So worst case scenario, if the market drops, we're still going to be good. Okay. We're still going to be fine with that property. Now that one right there is, it gives us choice. I can do 3 things with that property. I can wholesale it out and I can make a killing on it, which I'm not going to do. I can rent it out as is. I don't have, it doesn't need hardly anything to rent it out. I could rent it out to tomorrow if I wanted to. The third thing that we're gonna be doing, because the third unit is completely fixed up. It's in beautiful condition. The other 2 units, only thing we're gonna do is the kitchen and the bathrooms. That's it. Oh, we're gonna paint and we're gonna bring out the hardwoods. Okay, so we know within that property going to be somewhere around 25,000. Let's just say we're wrong and it's going to be $30,000, 35,000. Who cares? I'm still going to be at a great price. And if I ever have to get rid of it, I know that will sell. But if something happens, God forbid something happens, I need to dump that thing for $150,000, $160,000. I'll have a line out the door for this place over there. Okay. So, and again, that's what works for me, and other people on this call may not work for them. At the same time, all I'm thinking is that for us to sell that, because we're going to be about right around 4 or 5 months out. I'm already thinking the end of summer, and then thinking, okay, what's going to happen with interest rates?
So I'm looking at the Fed's calendar right now. They're meeting on May 3rd and 4th. Right now, everybody's expecting a 2 to 2.25 point increase on May 3rd or 4th. And then they're meeting again June 15th, July 27th, September 20th, November 1st, and December 13th. So I guess we'll see, because there's certain presidents, specifically the Georgia president of the Fed, has come out and said that he thinks that 2% will crush the economy overnight and everything will fall apart. So he wants to slow it down and only do 1/4 to 1/2 point. But they have to catch up to inflation, which is 8.5%. And it's going to go up. The real inflation is much larger because we're still getting through zeros. So we just got rid of a zero. We went from 7.9 to 8.5. We're getting rid of another zero at the end of April. We'll probably go up to 9 something. We're going to get rid of another zero in May. So that annual average is going to continue to climb. Real inflation is probably over 10%, probably closer to 12 to 15. So, and if you look at the way it was calculated, 1982 would be 17.1% today.
And that directly affects supply and demand, and it's going to affect our entire market dynamic. So put your seatbelt on is my saying.
Yeah, there's gonna be that's how come
It's going to hit real estate and construction first, like it always does. So you'll see real estate and construction. You'll see all of the suppliers for those industries pull back. You'll see turns go down. You'll see prices drop as demand softens. Yeah, it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, and then what's going to happen too, as long as the rest of us are positioned correctly, there's going to be people out there who bought property, especially with adjustable rate mortgages, and whether commercial or residential, the last crazy meltdown that we had way back when, I was just starting, I was wholesaling, and when, unfortunately, when the market tanks, wholesaling, your business just goes through the roof. Okay. But the thing is, I was already prepared and positioned to be able to handle that. I don't want to see the economy collapse. I don't want to see people lose their house and things like that. At the same time, there's got to be people who are going to want to, they're going to be in positions, even going up 1 or 2% and 1%, it's out there, because some of these people were barely breaking even, and 1%, they'll be like, you know what, I'll just get rid of it. And there's going to be opportunities. They're going to leave enough meat on that bone on some of these places to say, I like to say, enough meat on a bone to choke a dinosaur and a dinosaur's family. And they're going to be out there, and you're going to be doing them a favor, because they're going to be saving money on in the long run. Instead of them losing money, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? Take it. And then they're going to take that money and put it someplace else.
Yeah, they were saying that an interest rate of like a 1% increase on the interest rate will knock like 500,000 people out of the buying market. So you consider that we're talking mortgage rates and not the federal funds rate. Like The federal funds rate right now is 0.5%, but mortgage rates went from 3.25 to 5% for a half a point. So what's the mortgage rate going to look like when they go to 2.25, 2.5, 3, 4, 5% on federal funds? It's going to skyrocket. So I remember my parents having a 17% mortgage in 1989. Like, I remember them living through that.
Mhm. Oh, man. And by the way, we're not trying to scare people. We just want, I mean, it's basically our way of saying, you know, just be careful. And, you know, for me, I like to prepare for the worst ahead of time. I'm just conservative that way. It works for me. Everybody's different. Okay. You can make money when the market is hot and when the market is low. It's just all going to boil down to prices.
Yes. Economic crisis creates lots and lots of opportunities, and you can help a lot of people in the process. So I see it every time. More millionaires are made during a crash than during a boom.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you think the odds are of stagflation? Because a lot of the inflation is being driven by the gas prices.
No, it's not. This has been going on. No, this has been going on since before the gas prices started skyrocketing. There's no stagflation. This is pure hyperinflation right now, and it's not transitory. Anything that you're hearing coming out of the White House is crap. It's been crap. It was crap. It was crap in September of last year when they said, "Oh, it's transitory. It's going to fade." No, that's garbage. And the real cost, input costs have skyrocketed. Production costs have skyrocketed. The supply chain is broken for the next year and a half minimum. Without a doubt, we still can't get stuff out of Europe. We still can't get stuff out of China. We're still having issues with stuff out of the Middle East. There's no end in sight to that being fixed. And as long as input costs and pressures continue climbing, we're going to see stuff go through the roof. There's too many dollars chasing too few goods right now.
Well, thank you for the great news, Andy.
I know.
Any questions?
Let me give you another tidbit. 80% of the dollars that are in the economy globally right now, US dollars, have been printed in the last 18 months. So do the math on that.
Man, Andy, hopefully nobody's near a bridge right now.
Somebody turned his
some
mic
good
off.
News. What was that, Anthony?
Somebody turned his mic off.
I know. Bottom line, no matter what, doesn't matter if the interest rates are high, low, sideways, or whatever. It's all going to boil down the price.
The reality
Everything
is
adjusts.
Yeah, well, the reality is that the people who are in the market that make money off of people's investments are telling you not to panic. But if you look at what they're doing with their own dollars, they're moving their money, and they're moving it intelligently. But the talking heads are telling you to keep your money in. Everything's going to be fine. They're lying because they need people to be the fall guy. Somebody has to stay in for the collapse. The people who are smart are getting out. And I'm not talking real estate. I'm talking stocks at this point, but that's what's coming. Watch what Warren Buffett does and has been doing. He's been buying gold for a year, and he's got a huge amount of cash capital liquidity sitting in a pile waiting to buy low. So buy the dip is the rule of the day, but you have to wait for the bottom of the dip before you buy.
Well, on that note, first of all, I know we're getting close to the end over here because we try to wrap up around 8:30ish. Anyone have any questions, anything that, because obviously some questions may have been answered, maybe some more were raised. You want to, don't be afraid to ask. Wow. We answered everybody's questions.
No.
I think they're
I've
all
got a quick
crying in
question
their
here.
beers right now.
I'm thinking Andy depressed them. All right. We're gonna let that gentleman talk right now. Go ahead.
All right. Quick question here. I'm looking at another property where the commercial, some mixed use commercial, is undervalued or actually rented way below market rate. So it definitely has a great upside potential. The strategy of the question, though, is in going in with that situation, my thought was to go in, keep the rents exactly as they are, even though it's a bit on the low side. That at least will keep them there and keep it occupied, where I can then put some additional equity, fix up the space. At that point, then bring it closer to market rate And if that doesn't work out, or it's not a good fit for them, at least not in a position to immediately be able to rent. I wanted to kind of know what you guys thought about that strategy, or if there's some advice.
Wait,
you know,
I have a quick question here. So they're already in there,
mhm,
and you're gonna buy it and then fix it up and then raise the rent on them.
correct.
I mean, a lot of people do that. You know, the only thing that worries me on commercial, I don't know what area it's in. You got to be
19th
careful.
Ward.
What?
19th Ward.
19th Ward. Okay.
Mhm.
Still, you know, decent area. And you got to make sure you don't want them to move out on you, because sometimes
Exactly.
trying to fill those spaces, but have that conversation with them ahead of time.
Mhm, before work starts. Correct.
That's what I've done. I let them
Yeah.
know, say, look, I'm going to fix this up. At the same time, you know, your rent, I want to be respectful here. Your rent's been low. And, you know, and I have to be able to make sure, because now I got to take care of
Mortgage.
taxes and bills, just like you do. So have that conversation ahead of time.
Upfront. Okay.
I don't know, anyone else want to chime in on that one?
I've done that quite a bit with our residential. Commercial, I mean, you're gonna have a longer lease currently probably in play. I'm assuming maybe they didn't. But I think what Joe says, right? Usually if you can go in and have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
In residential, a lot of times, you know, we go in, we talk to them, we explain, you know, you're under market, this is where it should be. We're not going to raise it on you all at once or anything like that. We want to know that you could even afford that limit or that area. And during that process also, you know, usually we're buying at a dilapidated state. So we want to know, you know, what things you feel need to be done, what things need to be taken care of. And we'll kind of review that, go through it, see what we have to do, what we need to do, and what we can do. And if you can work out kind of a sliding scale with them, and say, okay, so as we fix this, this, and this, we'll slowly start to go up in rent. That allows us to go up a lot quicker, and also still already having that understanding with them. So it motivates us to do the repairs, and it motivates them to pay the higher rent as we're doing those types of repairs. So it allowed us to elevate the rents way quicker than waiting out, you know, every 6 months, every year to go up $50 or something, right? The ones that we don't elevate quickly are typically people we know that cannot afford it. So we might not be able to go in and sink the equity in right away, you know, inherited tenants that are on disability or something. So as we get service calls or something, so say we're going in for a vanity problem, a plumbing problem, we'll tend to go and replace the vanity at that point. Or, you know, doing those types of upgrades at the point that we're already there, where we just have to spend a little bit extra to go ahead and improve it then. But it tends to work out if you have that pre-conversation with them and let them know the deficit in the rents and what is it that you can do to make their life better. Can you afford that higher price? And let's kind of work together scenario, and then it gets them on the same page, allows you to get to that max value rent a lot quicker.
Gotcha. And the alternative to that was, okay, get in, bring it a little bit closer to fair market value for the condition that it is in. And then later on, obviously, as additional equity is sunk in, then move into that higher price point. So that was my first thought. And, you know, again, just really wanted your input on that. So I think we're both thinking pretty much the same thing. And what I generally do, especially for the residential, is to make sure that they're not spending any more than 30% of their income and so forth. So that's how I kind of use to qualify and kind of go with that. And, you know, with the current state of market, basically there's a shortage, right? Last time I placed an ad, I mean, my phone just kept ringing. And while I'm on the phone talking to someone, then I've got 2 other people calling. So that being said, then, you know, certainly I want to make sure that I'm getting the best qualified persons at this time, because who knows what could have happened with that Proposition 94. So that being said, then we want to make sure, obviously, that they are at least working 2 years or more, and then kind of going from there with some other things. But again, you know, just fielding out what your thoughts are and appreciate any guidance and recommendations essentially moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Adam hit the nail right on the head, and, yes, I mean, yeah, you seem to be on the right path with that.
Yeah.
So you're pretty good with that. So you understand. Okay. It's 8:30 right now. I'll hang out for a few extra minutes. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Some people do have to go. We try to keep this to 90 minutes. I appreciate everybody staying on here and joining in. Make sure, actually, the next one is going to be the first Thursday. That's going to be the morning meeting, which is going to be starting it's at 9 a.m. You can go on FFREIA.com and take a look at that. But I appreciate everybody being on here. I want everybody to have a great night. Go do real estate. Thank you very much. And I'll hang out for just a few extra minutes in case anybody wants to go over anything real quick. And but we'll see you at the next meeting. Actually, be Carl's.
Yep.
Next Thursday night.
In person.
Yeah. So Carl, in total, how many properties have you managed over the last 40 years? A couple of thousand?
Oh, Joe, you know, I don't like to talk about that kind of stuff, but as a reference point, because I do it full time,
I know.
time, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, 40 years. My stats are I've screened over, we stopped counting, but I personally screen over 40,000 tenants, done over 4,000 evictions, performed over 3,500 lease agreements. I've done thousands of CFOs. It's just so deep.
Yeah. Every time I tell people, I go, he's in the thousands. If people tell me, well, I go, no, you don't understand. Have you done in the thousands?
Yeah.
They're like, no. I go, then you got to listen to Carl.
I'm glad I'm at this point, this where I can, pass this information on or experience on to other people to help them out. That's what it's about now. So to help other folks succeed, that's really my quest right now.
You tell you something. I tell people we're pretty lucky to have you on here because you are a ridiculous wealth of knowledge.
You give me too much credit. You are equally.
Look, I don't know very many people personally that have done thousands and thousands of properties.
Yeah.
Okay? You hear the gurus that you see on YouTube or you see on TV, but you're right here in Rochester personally. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's not one person that I know personally that has done more properties than you. I know people have done. I've done a lot of houses myself, but nowhere near close to you.
Well, I appreciate that, but the main thing or asset that I could bring to the table are the ones, the newbies, the ones that want to get into the market. That's where I'm at, available to most. And these are the property evaluations, that first purchase, second purchase, they're scared. They're like, oh geez, what do I do? I don't know what I'm doing. I am your person to guide you through that process. Relax. I'm going to take you through that process of an analysis. Is this a deal that's going to be, profitable for you over the long term? And we're going to insert, the real numbers into those expenses that many people get wrong. And that's my forte. And I'm glad to share that with the young folks. And so thank you, Joe. Appreciate that.
Kidding me? Thank you. Are you kidding me? Please. Every time I see you, I just see, I'm not kidding you, over your head, I see thousands of houses. That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Joe's not exaggerating. It's thousands. So what it is. So we're at this point with FFREIA that I'm here to help, others succeed. And that's
You
my mission right now.
And what's great is that you'll be like next week, you'll be live. You can actually go up and actually talk to them in person.
Yeah.
Instead of, somebody who lives thousands of miles away, lives right here in Rochester. So, but, and by the way, I appreciate your input on the call too, by the way. And send Scott Spear a text message, happy retirement. But you gotta send him.
He's not retired, Joe. I'm working his ass off by getting these deals.
Oh my God. I gotta say, I saw Gabe and Carl talking there, and I saw him shaking hands and saying deal. I don't know what that was all about, but
Double.
Oh man. What? Well, I don't know. I don't know if everyone was all set. I think we're all set. Andy, by the way, I want to say thank you very much.
What?
Sure.
Wait.
Depressing everybody.
Yeah, I know, for scaring the shit out of us. Really?
Oh yeah. Well, not for that, but for at least.
You know what? That's the
we
best
can
part of my
do the
job
Zoom
is
meeting.
I do two things in my job. I tell people they're doing things wrong, and I scare the crap out of them. So that's, for me, it's pretty entertaining, but I also have to learn this stuff. So I have to deal with it for a lot longer before I'm ready to actually announce something.
Well, if it wasn't for Andy, I'd be doing this meeting by Morse code. Okay. So there is just, I believe me, we appreciate that. I don't know if Leon is still on or not, but I wanted to say thank you.
You got it, buddy. My pleasure.
This is a wrap, right?
We're out of here. Go do real estate. It's only like 6:30 or 5:30 on the West Coast.
5:30, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're in
5:36.
Arizona, and then the whole thing is upside down.
There you go.
Or New Mexico.
All right. You guys have a great night. I'm out.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
All right, see you.
Bye.
Bye.